Power Rangers, The Haunting House of Hannah Halloween. Daisy woke up and jumped to her feet. She stood in what looked like a dining room with a massive table, massive chairs, plates and cutlery all laid out. There was a huge painting hung on the wall. It was a girl whose face had been smudged out. Daisy looked out the window and saw nothing but pure white. Babe? Timothy? Rose? Anyone? She called out. She walked out of the dining room and entered the dining room once again. She looked around, confused. She then hit her morpher and nothing happened. Damn it! She called out. Then, suddenly, she looked over at the cutlery and watched it move. The cutlery all started to ship shape into 4 numbers. 3, 1, 1, 0. 3010? Daisy sighed. She was slightly frightened, but also curious. She looked around the room and searched the empty drawers and dusty cupboards for clues. What does the number mean? Daisy sighed. Then she heard dripping, like a leaky tap or a pipe. She looked over at the table and saw the water dripping from the pipe, from the ceiling, and it was dripping onto the table. Daisy looked at the number again, and it hit her. The dripping water made a dot between 2 numbers. It's not 1 number, but 2. So it's 31 and 10. What does that mean? Daisy asked herself. Then the cupboard she left open slammed shut. Is there someone here, like, haunting here? Daisy called out. Then suddenly there was a sound of clapping, like a round of applause. I'll take that as a yes then, Daisy muttered. Daisy looked back at the table, and there on the table was a bowl of dates. Daisy picked up one and she looked at the dates, then put it back down. She then looked at the 2 numbers and made out a cutlery, and then it shook her head. You put dates on the table to tell me this is a date, Daisy chimed. The sound of clapping appeared once more. The date would be the 31st of the 10th, which is Halloween. That's today, Daisy stated. Then the dining room door swung open, and Daisy was able to walk through it. She walked out of the dining room and found a door, a shoe rack, and a set of stairs. She looked down the hall, and it ended with all white. She looked out of the window, and she was met with more white light. Then, suddenly, someone came tumbling down the stairs and crashed into the wall. Daisy ran to the person's aid and pulled him to his feet as he was rubbing his head. Ozzy? Daisy asked. Oh, yeah. Hey, Daisy. Ozzy blurted. What are you doing here? Daisy asked as she hugged him. I have no idea. To be honest, I don't even know where here is, Ozzy replied. It's some sort of mansion, I think. I'm not sure. It's haunted for sure. And today's date is rather important, I think, Daisy explained. You mean Halloween? Ozzy questioned Daisy, as Daisy nodded. I was with Ace and Timothy when everything went dark, Daisy said. Albert was explaining Halloween to me, and then poof! Next thing you know, I'm tumbling down those stairs, Ozzy told her. So now what? Daisy asked. Then the 2 looked around when suddenly one of the pair of shoes fell off the shoe rack. Ozzy and Daisy walked up to them, and Daisy picked them up. It was a white pair of shoes. She placed them back on the shoe rack. Then Ozzy looked at the 5 shoes on the rack. They were a brand new, spotless pair of trainers, completely stood out from the rest of the mansion and its belongings. He then realised that each trainer had a different colour on them. Daisy, look. 1 red, 1 white, 1 pink, 1 black, and 1 yellow, Ozzy said to her. Like a Power Ranger team, Daisy gasped. Then the round of applause started again. Ozzy looked around but saw nothing. Yeah, get used to that, Daisy muttered. Then Daisy stood and looked up. Were you a Power Ranger? She called out. Another pair of trainers flew off the rack and landed in Ozzy's hands. They're the white ones again, Ozzy stated. So the person haunting was a White Ranger? Daisy stated. Ozzy placed the shoes back and they slid away from the other shoes, slinging themselves across. Whoa, did you see that? Ozzy asked. Yeah. Something happened to a ranger, I think, Daisy told him. Then Ozzy tapped her and she turned around and they both saw the rest of the corridor was now visible. I think as we solve more of this puzzle, the more of the mansion gets accessible. We need to find out what happened to this ranger, and it's something to do with Halloween, Daisy said as they both started walking down the corridor. They found one of the doors. They opened it and walked into the kitchen, where they found a girl stood there searching the cupboards. Minnie? Ozzy cheered. Minnie stood and spun around and grinned. Hey guys, I'm glad to see you. Minnie cheered and hugged both of them. We have been trying to figure out what happened here. It's something range related and maybe Halloween, Daisy told her. Okay, well, Task Force Hojo's in good hands, and apparently I have no choice, so count me in, Minnie shrugged. Then the trio walked around the kitchen when suddenly the stove lit one of the rings and a pan of boiling water appeared. Minnie walked up to the side and found a piece of paper. She picked it up. Chopped tomatoes, set them to boil for 15 minutes. Once boiled, add butter, milk, parsley and salt. Mash well until smooth. Guys, this is a cooking recipe, Minnie stated. Yo, Daisy, didn't you say that Halloween might be important? Ozzy asked. I think so. Why? Daisy asked. There is a calendar here on the fridge and Halloween has a heart drawn in it, Ozzy pointed. So a date? Minnie questioned. The round of applause rang through the room again. So the ghost was meant to be on a date before she died, Minnie sighed. Minnie pulled out her Cornish morpher, but it was dead. Yeah, tried that already. Doesn't work, Daisy sighed. Surprised. Actually, I'm more surprised my dad ain't here. He's always around for the crossovers, Minnie sighed as she put away her morpher. Hang on, we have 3 ranger heroes. All 3 different teams, universes and colours, Ozzy said. Yeah, point is, Daisy asked. Well, there are 5 here trainers out there, and I don't know if you figured it out, but we take 3 of the 5 colours, Ozzy said with a raised eyebrow. So this ghost is trying to tell us something. Something happened on Halloween. There was a date planned, and it went wrong. Something bad happened, and it revolves around 5 Power Rangers, Minnie stated. The round of applause filled the room once again. Rangers. It revolves around Power Rangers, Daisy called out. Then clapping continued. So you are a Power Ranger, right? Ozzy called out, and the clapping got more intense. Did something bad happen to you? Minnie said. Then the clapping stopped, there was a loud thud from above them, then the trio walked out of the kitchen and looked up the stairs. Ozzy had fallen down earlier before. The white light had gone and they ran up the stairs and entered the first room, which was the bathroom. They advanced to the next room and they opened it and found the master bedroom, a huge bed draped with black and burgundy. There was also someone handcuffed to the bed. Hey guys, said the person. Hey Dante, Minnie and Daisy chuckled. Okay, yes, I'm handcuffed to the bed. Can you untie me now? Dante growled. Ozzy walked over the bedside table and found the key and untied him, as Daisy filled him in on their little hunt and the trails of clues to find out what happened to the ghost who's been haunting the mansion. Ghosts? Sure, why not? Dante sighed. Dante, have you seen anything out of place or weird? Daisy asked. Dante walked over the table to a large book. This kept on opening and the pages kept on turning, Dante told them. Daisy opened the book and flipped through the pages. It's a diary, Daisy stated. Then she got to the last page that had writing on it. Dear Diary, today is the day me and Brad have been together and madly in love for 3 years, and tonight I give him me, all of me. We shall solidify our love, but first I must be a ranger. Life just went from 7 to a 10. Wish me luck, Diary. I might not be able to stand afterwards, Daisy read. It's signed at the bottom, Dante noted, pointing at the bottom of the page. In neat, joined-up writing, the name Hannah Halloween was presented. Hannah Halloween, Minnie muttered. Then the room was filled with clapping once more, and Dante looked around all confused. Yeah, get used to that, Ozzy muttered. Okay, so we have a name, we know she was in love with someone called Brad, and she died on Halloween, and that was meant to be some big romantic thingy, and she was poorly named Hannah Halloween. So now what? Minnie stated. I still think my Power Ranger theory stands. Now we have a Black Ranger, Ozzy said, nodding his head towards Dante. Am I missing something? Dante said. The ghost showed us 5 pairs of shoes. 1 white, 1 pink, 1 red, 1 black, and 1 yellow, Ozzy explained. So I'm the black, you'd be the red, Minnie pink, and Daisy white, Dante stated. Ozzy nodded his head in confirmation. So we need a Yellow Ranger, right? And we also need to find out what happened at this date, Dante ordered. Okay, Hannah, we hear you. We need to know what happened on this date. Or on Halloween that you died. Whichever, Daisy called out. Then suddenly a banging noise filled the air. Ozzy bolted out the door to go find it, and the other 3 followed. They ran down the stairs and found the door to the basement. They barged in and ran down the stairs. They found a big open square basement and found a girl chained to the wall. They ran over, and with a hard kick, Daisy broke the lock. The girl dropped to the floor, and Dante pulled her to her feet. You okay, Esme? Dante asked her. Yeah, I woke up chained to a wall, Esme muttered. The 4 Rangers explained everything to Esme. Whoa, that's intense, Esme gasped. Yeah, you think? Minnie sighed. Okay, that proves Ozzy's theory of 5 coloured shoes equal 5 Rangers the same colour, and I think this basement means something, Daisy stated. Ozzy stood there with a smirk. Then everything went black. Everyone looked around in the depths of dark. Then a ghostly, dull, white light emanated from behind them. Everyone turned around to see a girl. A ghost girl, standing there, her clothes tattered, her hair wet and dripping, her face dull and lifeless and scared. Are you Hannah? Daisy asked. Yes, the ghost girl muttered. Why did you bring us here? Dante asked. I need your help, Hannah told them. Are you trapped here? Esme asked. Yes. I've been here since 1986, Hannah mumbled. That was like 40 years ago. I think. I keep forgetting how much time difference there is between you guys and me, Ozzy stated. Why do you need us? Daisy asked her. I need help. Only Power Rangers can help me. Someone linked to the morphing grid, Hannah blurted. The 5 Rangers looked at each other and they all nodded. Yeah, we can help you. What exactly? Ozzy grinned. The 4 other ghosts appeared then. They were all Rangers. All of them were battered and broken. Hannah, what are you doing? You shouldn't be talking to mortals, the Red Ranger said. Notice the colours? Ozzy whispered to the group. As Ozzy was correct, they matched the colours of the trainers. Yeah, they match. Making Hannah their White Ranger, possibly, Dante said. I guess we're about to find out, Esme chimed. Hannah, come back to us, the Yellow Ranger muttered. I don't want to, Hannah cried out. What is going on? Dante barked. It is her fault we're dead, so we keep her here as a reminder, the Black Ranger growled. How? As Esme growled. I was their 5th Ranger, and the 4th already knew each other. It was different to the others, as I summoned my Ranger as it was a Spirit Ranger. I would have had to meditate and keep focus, Hannah explained. So you were like the 3 masters who helped take down Daishi, Minnie stated. Hannah nodded in agreement. She was good until she messed everything up, the Pink Ghost Ranger barked. She killed us, the Black Ranger growled. It was an accident. No one believed me, Hannah cried out. 'Cause you lied, the Red Ranger snapped. It was the truth, Hannah screamed. Whoa, everyone slow down. What was the truth? Dante asked. I'll tell you, Hannah sighed. No, Hannah, don't, the Black Ranger called out. Then everything went black once again. The ghosts were no longer there, and everyone looked around when suddenly there was a small flicker of light floating above Daisy. I was in love with our leader, and we dated for 2 years. It was amazing, Daisy muttered in a strange voice. I think Hannah possessed her, Minnie stated. Let her talk, Dante told everyone. We got together on Halloween, which evidently was my last name. We became lovers, and that was the night that we made of love and romance. Why not, innit? We did what we did every Halloween and arranged a date. We planned it for my house. But just as we started our 3rd year anniversary date, which was meant to be special, a monster attacked. I sat in my room of rose petals and candles and meditated, allowing my Spirit Ranger to help out my team. But as I was meditating, I was raped, and I lost my connection to my Spirit Ranger. Revolving and my team being badly defeated. They came back to the house all covered in bruises and blood. My lover also defeated. Our date was ruined. The Black Ranger was the only one who wasn't as hurt. I soon figured out it was him, but no one believed me. It came to a massive argument, and I was pushed out of my Ranger team. My friends and my lover all banished me. It was then that the 4 Rangers tried to attack me, and my Ranger spirit, my Banshee spirit, tried to protect myself. I screamed. I brought the house down and buried my Ranger team alive. And no one ever saw them since. The spirit explained that was possessing Daisy. Then Daisy coughed and inhaled deeply. Then she looked around in shock. You back, gorgeous? Esme asked. Yeah, I think so, Daisy nodded. Can we really blame her for retaliating? Dante asked. Question is, why are they stuck here? Ozzy asked them. We keep her here as a punishment, the Red Ghost Ranger said as the Ghost Rangers reappeared with Hannah's ghost. But you do know the Black Ranger did wrong. He should be pushed out, not her, Dante barked. That is ridiculous, the Black Ghost Ranger snapped. I summoned you here. Please help me, Hannah called out, who now stood behind the Ranger Ghosts. Let's get her. We gotta let her go, Esme said. No, we hate her. She lies. She took from us. She wanted to make us hate each other. So now she is punished, the ghosts roared all at once. Then they phased into one another, and the form of the four ghosts formed into a solid monster. It was physically alive. It looked like the four rangers, but all swirled and twisted together in a horrifying way. Their hatred, it made them merge and turn into a monster, Dante stated. Hannah said that her spirit went AWOL and tried to protect her. It's not even her fault. She's still the victim here, Ozzy said. We need them to see sense. Their hatred is blinding them, Daisy told them. I say we stop it. Make them see sense, Esme said sternly. Agreed. But how do we do that? We don't even have our powers, Dante noted. Suddenly all their morphers started to glow. I think that answers your question, Minnie chuckled. Everyone lined up against the monster. You can't have her, the monster roared. We'll see about that, Minnie called out. She then turned to Dante. You're leading this one? She asked him. Sure, Dante said. Then he took a step forward as everyone pulled out their morphers. It's morphing time! Mastodon! Dante called out as he held out his power morpher. In a flash of black, he morphed into the Black Mighty Morphin Power Ranger. Ozzy flipped open his Super Mega Morpher and held out his Red Range key. Super Mega Mode! Ozzy called out. Then he flipped the key up and slotted the key into the morpher and turned it, and in a flash of red, he morphed into the red Super Mega Force Ranger. Esme held out her yellow guitar pick. Attune to the music, she called out. In a spark of lightning, the guitar pick turned into a yellow flute. She played the flute, and in a flash of yellow, she morphed into the Masters of Music Yellow Ranger. Kerno Bisficken! Minnie called out as she held out her Cornish morpher, and in a flash of pink, she morphed into the Cornish Pink Ranger. Scan DNA! Daisy called out as she waved her hand over her morpher. Cybercharge! She called out as she slammed her hand on her morpher, and in a flash of white light, she morphed into the white Cyberforce Ranger. The five rangers stood before the horrifying monster. The Black Ranger ran in first. With his power axe in hand, he shifted into blast mode and started blasting at the monster. Then the Red Ranger landed behind it and slashed the monster back with the Super Saber. At the same time, the Yellow Ranger landed in front of it and hit it with her yellow flute baton. Then the Pink Cornish Ranger jumped up with her power bow and unleashed a flurry of arrows that rained down on the monster. Then the White Ranger slid in front of the monster, kicking it, popping up into the air. Then, as she jumped up to her feet, she launched herself into the air, joining the monster, and she struck it several times with a flurry of punches before she kicked off of it, the monster landing on the ground. As it climbed to its feet, it growled. How are you so good? You guys aren't even on the same team, the monster called out as it fired a barrage of multicolored lasers at the Rangers. The Black Ranger smacked the laser away with his axe. That's because all of us are a team. All Rangers are. We stand for what's right, making us one unified team, the Black Ranger told the monster as he came in close and swung his axe, striking the monster. Even when times are tough, even when there's a multiverse standing in your way, the Pink Ranger called out as she summoned the power daggers and threw them at the monster, causing sparks as the daggers made contact. No matter who you lose, you stand in their place and honor them, the White Ranger said as she summoned her cyber deck and made the card twist around the monster, the card twister slicing the monster repeatedly. We have to be that beacon of light to those who have lost everything and guide them, the Red Ranger said as he landed in front of the monster and dealt out a barrage of attacks, mixing his saber and blaster attacks in a fluent set of strikes. We do what is right, no matter how big or small the problem is, whether it's our world or someone else's, the Yellow Ranger yelled out as she played her flute, which summoned a yellow music note, which flew at the monster and hit it, causing electrical explosions which stunned the monster. My turn. Power weapons, combine. Power cannon, the Pink Ranger called out as her 5 power weapons combined and she held onto the cannon. She then pulled the trigger and it hit the monster. The monster fell back and screamed. It exploded, and the 4 Ghost Rangers reappeared as the black fog lifted off of them. They all turned to Hannah, who stood completely still in shock. We are sorry. We should have believed you, the Red Ranger muttered. It's okay, my love, Hannah replied. No. We will do what is right. Be free, Hannah. the Red Ranger said. The pink and yellow Ghost Rangers grabbed onto the black Ghost Ranger. "What are you doing? She is lying. I didn't do anything," the Black Ranger called out. The Red Ghost Ranger turned around and followed the Black Ranger as he was dragged into the ground. The Red Ranger followed. All 4 Rangers sunk into the floor, disappearing from sight, and in a flash of white light, the team was demorphed and transferred to the ruins of the actual mansion. They stood there. The air tasted like soot, and the sun shone bright. Hannah stood before them. She no longer looked like a dead or horrifying ghost. She looked beautiful with her long black hair and white pretty dress. "Hannah, I think you're free now," Dante told her. "I agree, but I don't know what to do. The morphing grid, it's keeping me around," she muttered. She looked down and her hands started emanating green energy. "That's the morphing grid energy. My Dante does that a lot," Esme told them. "You can summon the Spirit Ranger again?" Ozzy questioned. "So much good I'll be. I can't even help out a team," Hannah sighed. "Sure you can," Minnie smiled. Then she walked up to the ghost. "I officially invite you to be part of Task Force Hojo," Minnie said with a smile. "Really? After all of this?" Hannah questioned. "Hey, you needed help. You did what you had to do. Maybe we can help you tame your Banshee Spirit, and the Banshee Spirit Ranger could be kind of handy," Minnie stated. "Yes, oh my god, thank you so much," Hannah cheered. The rest of the Rangers all clapped and cheered. Question? How do we get home?" Ozzy asked. Then everyone fell silent as they realised that his question was very valid. This Halloween crossover event crosses over a lot of the Power Rangers stories hosted by Tiger Tales, such as Power Rangers Future Foundation, Power Rangers Masters of Music, Power Rangers Cyberforce V2, Power Rangers Magnificent Megaforce, and Power Rangers Task Force Hojo. Now, if you enjoyed this crossover, please make sure you check out the other crossovers. And from myself, Ty Tiger, the host of the Tiger Tales channels, and the partners and voice actors of Tiger Tales, we bid you a happy Halloween.